Alright, Lily said you had your time, now the fun's over, and they decided to nerf Yukine to the ground. It's not a direct nerf, it's an indirect nerf, but it's a massive one. Dear Esper, after observing that the frost set effects in boss battle can occasionally disrupt combat balance, we've decided to make an adjustment to ensure a more sustainable gameplay experience. Previous set bonus grants 25% chance of inflicting freeze on the attacker for one turn when taking damage, to the new set bonus grants a 35% chance of inflicting freeze on the attacker for one turn when taking damage from a non-boss enemy. The set no longer works on bosses, which means Yukine will be completely useless in the game, because right now in PvP she's not good, in PvE she's only good in Dislyte Lens, and once they nerf this set to only work in non-bosses, this unit will be useless. The next one, to maintain fairness in online data, this change will be made in the next version update. We will continue optimizing the game to blah blah blah, whatever. Before I go ahead and ramble on for longer and roast Lilith for what they're gonna do, let me just show you why it's not going to work. In Shadowfire, she only works because you are running frost set on a lot of your Espers. You need her to be on the frost set as well, because she won't be casting her S3. She's gonna be petrified, which means she has no other form of inflicting freeze other than the frost set, right? So removing this frost set to only work on non-bosses, which means it's not going to work for her. And then your Liam will not be on the frost set anymore. Your Zihi will not be on the frost set. Your Shenpin will not be on the frost set. And the only one that isn't on the frost set that can work is going to be Sloan. Which means out of the 5 or out of the 6 unit, only one of the unit can work with her R2. All of these Espers that are on frost set will no longer work anymore. The score will drop drastically. I highly doubt she's going to break 100 million at this point for Shadowfire, so she's going to be useless here. And then in the next one, Shadowstream, there is a team that can go like almost a billion. You can go above a billion with this team. Let me just show you how absurd it is. The number of turns that you can get with this Esper. Like it goes to show you that they did 0 tests with this Esper before releasing them. You look at the friends list, right? 97, 88, 106, 104. This one's a bug, 0 turns. 65, 64, and look at my turn. 1357. This is so ridiculous. The amount of turns that you can get with her with the frost set is ridiculous, but it's also very RNG based. It takes a lot of stamina for me to get this 900 million. Is she OP? 100%. With this frost set, no, before the nerf, she's very OP. But once they fix this frost set to only work on non-bosses, she's going to be completely useless. So those who spend on her pass or even go way and above to R6 her, just keep in mind she's gonna be useless from that point on, and I can assure you of that, because right now I've tested her in PvP and she works like a dog shit, man. She doesn't work in PvP. In any other content that isn't based off of your relic that you cannot use frost set, she's just bad. She kills off your own team. How is that good? Especially in Shadowstream, you need a lot of RNG so that she doesn't kill your team. Right now I have like no HP on her, and she still sometimes managed to kill off my units, the units in my team. Okay, so now all of my units have the snow cloak, and look at the turn cycling. The boss will stay at this AP for like almost like 5 whole minutes, and then it will slowly move, because I don't know why it does that. It's probably because I don't proc a astral on 3 of my units right here. So the units that can apply freeze on their skills will use the astral set so that you can cycle better. You need 6 turns in total for the blizzard to proc, and once the blizzard procs, all of your units gets a turn, right? So these units that can apply freeze on their skill will be on the astral set to help with the turn count. So look at this boss. The boss isn't moving at all. Even though my speed is not that insane, I have like 0 speed on 3 of these Espers, 2 of these Espers, and they are taking more turns than the boss because of how OP the Snowcloak buff is. But this will no longer be viable because I am using the frost set on 2 of my supports, my Shenpin and also my Feng Shun. Feng Shun is the main DPS in the team, but if I can't run the frost set on Feng Shun and Shenpin, they will die from the blizzard damage from Yukine. So not only she's going to be bad for Shadowfire, she's also going to be bad in Shadowstream as well. She's not going to work anymore in PvE. I can tell you that much. Alright, I'm not going to torture you to sit through all of this. I tried to go through all of this and it took me like 10 minutes plus. And I went to sleep. I went to sleep and it's still going, by the way. Right now the rank 1 in Shadowstream has 260 million average. Because there is a lot of RNG with this team. In a 10 run, you usually get like 1 billion score. It's not every single time that you get like a insane score. And as for Ggez, I haven't really tested her out, but it turns out that it's already a team that can score 1 billion score average, which is this team right here. Very weird team, but again, the turn cycling is going to be absolutely insane. Frost set on her, yeah. So frost set on everyone. She doesn't even have frost set. Frost set and frost set. Oh, this one is Astral because she has freeze on her S3. And then if you want to, you can also put frost set on her because she's going to be petrified. There's no other forms of freezing with Yukine in Ggez. But yeah, that's the team. And as for Ritual Miracle, you can only use her in Fafnir, which no one uses her because she's just bad, right? She doesn't offer anything to Fafnir. Her counter for the Blizzard to proc will reset every single wave, which means if you enter the last boss stage, you will still have 6 stacks of the Blizzard warning. So you're not going to be getting the Blizzard damage to maybe help you out with the damage. So she's going to be absolutely useless in Fafnir. She's going to be absolutely useless in Yinglong as well. Even if there is a team for her, her true damage is not that insane. It takes a lot of time for her to stack the true damage. In turn, is going to increase your turn count without even improving your team, right? So she's going to be bad for all of these bosses right here. How about in Falsehood to Fantasy though? Now, even without the nerf on the Frost set, I have not seen a single person running her in any of the bosses. Because the thing with the Frost set is, you need to proc it 4 times. Or however many times you have your units on the Frost set. Let's say, for example, this second team, I'm using Yukine and I have 4 sets of Frost set on my team. Yunchuan on Frost set, Xuanpin on Frost set, Fushi on Frost set, and Sakura on Frost set. So what needs to happen is I need the boss to attack me 4 times for the Frost set to go on all 4 of my units. And not just that, I need to proc it in order. Let's say, for example, the first AoE attack that the boss do on me procs 4 Frost sets on all 4 of these aspects right here. So this one proc, this one proc, this one proc, this one proc. But the only one that is going to get the Snow Cloak buff is going to be Yunchuan. The rest will not get it because it's only, for some reason, it's only 1 per turn. So these units will have to gamble once again that if the boss does an AoE attack, these 3 or at least one of them proc a Frost set in order to get the Snow Cloak. Now what happens if the boss does an AoE attack and then Yunchuan procs the Frost set once again alongside with the other 3, right? Yunchuan will get the Snow Cloak stack once again, while the rest of the 3 will not get any. So the far left unit will be prioritized in terms of the Frost set. So even if the Frost set works in Falsehood to Fantasy, it's going to take too many turns for it to function. You need at the very least 4 attacks from the boss, perfect RNG where the boss attacks you 4 times, and the Frost set procs on Yunchuan first, and then the second turn procs on Xuanpin, third turn procs on Fushi, 4th turn procs on Sakura. That's why in Desolate Lands, you don't see it happen that often. That's the amount of RNG you have to go through when you're using Yukine plus the Frost set. You go to Knockout, one of the best places to see how well a unit is doing. And you go to Yukine, there's only 3 teams running her. And guess what? They are all running R6 of the most broken units in the game. Zihi R6, R6 Iki, R6 Lu Sheng, R6 Lian. Once again, second team with 1300 score. And then in the last spot right here, the only difference is from Iki, he goes to Sloan, which is not even that good of a score, to be honest with you. And this is almost a full R6 team, by the way. R6 Yukine as well. And she's doing not even that good. You go to yesterday, there's only 3 as well. And the score, again, is not that good. The only one that's really doing well is an R6 Zihi. The rest of the Yukine team doesn't even get enough win rate to appear in the team rank. Mine only gets 11,000. Yeah, in PvP, she's not that good, even at R2. Because 1, you can't even run the Frost set on your units in beat bout and knockout. Number 2, her true damage is not even that good in PvP. Again, it takes way too long of a time for you to stack up the true damage for it to even be significant. The only place that she can be decent, I'm not even saying good, okay? She's going to be decent in point war, and the reason is because you can run frost set on all of your units. It is getting a buff in terms of PvP for the frost set because it now goes to 35%. But again, her damage is not that good compared to other juggernauts in PvP that we have right now. We have Daji, we have Momo, we have Wu Yu. Wu Yu just completely shuts down the entire team if you don't have a Zihi in your lineup for the Yukine team. And then we have Lu Sheng just to boost the DPS damage even further. She's not going to survive because she doesn't have any heals for herself. She only has a 25% damage reduction and she doesn't have any stealth or whatsoever. So the enemies can just target her down very easily. She's just terrible in beat bout and knockout and is just decent. Again, decent in point war. At R2 by the way. Now with that being said, now that she's going to be useless in PvE, I want Lilith to give a compensation. I don't expect anymore. I want them to give a compensation because I went in fully under the impression that she is going to work in bossing contents for PvE. I didn't get her for PvP because I know she's going to be absolutely garbage. So the reason why I even bought this pass to begin with is because I know and I've seen that she works in PvE. And just because of your negligence on the fact that Frostset works in PvE contents, or bossing contents should I say, I've wasted $30 to get a unit that I don't even want anymore. And also a further 3,000 to max out the battle pass as well. But that one is just my stupidity. But the fact that I spent $30 to get a unit that is essentially useless at this point is just unheard of, man. If you guys can get a refund on the pass, please do, because let me tell you right now, she is going to be absolutely useless. But if you can't, then just ask Lilith for compensation, because you spent on the pass fully knowing that Yukine is going to work for PvE contents. Me, for example, I've spent 3,000 crystals to get the battle pass to max out, but that's my own stupidity. But I've spent way too much resources on her, and one of them being 9 of these ripple boxes just to get her to R2. That is disgusting. The next resource is I've spent way too much stamina on her, trying to make her work in PvE. I've spent well over 2,000 stamina, and also the fact that they are going to probably reset the leaderboard for the areas that people are using her in, mainly for Shadowfire, for the Desolate Land bosses, right? Shadow Guild, Shadowstream, and Shadowfire. The scores that I had for my previous best teams that isn't using Yukine will also be reset, which means I've wasted essentially tens of thousands of stamina trying to get that score. For my Shadowfire, I was at 380 million average that isn't using Yukine, and that's going to be reset, which means I'm going to have to spend tens of thousands of stamina to get it back. For Shadowstream, my best average is around 131 million, which I also need to spend thousands upon thousands of stamina to get it back, because that's not easy. To get that average, I would need to spend a lot of stamina. So how are you going to compensate for that? You've decided to nerf the frost set to the ground, or essentially Yukine to the ground, and that's going to affect a lot of people's account in terms of the resources that they have to spend once again. And yeah, some final words to Lilith. If you don't give any compensation, I can guarantee you there's going to be a massive backlash. People have spent real money to get her to R2 immediately. People have spent a lot of resources to make her work in PvE, and you just decided on a whim to nerf the one set that makes her work. That is just so stupid and scummy, man. Just because of your own negligence, you've made a lot of players lose money for no absolute reason. That's about it, ciao.